probably knows ChatGPT at this point. I'm sitting right now in a free account that's less available than if you go to the Plus account. The Plus, free account, we're limited to the model. We've just got a standard voice. We can't really do a whole lot. When we go to a Plus account, then we get more models, we get more memory, we get more pretty much everything. I'm filming this now at the end of July 2025, beginning of August 2025. Agents are new in ChatGPT. They're kind of rolling it out. Don't know exactly where it's going to fit in the pricing model, but it may be here for a little while, but it won't be here for very long. And more than likely there'll be a little exposure here, a lot of exposure here, because this is basically just wide open. So that's ChatGPT. There's parts of ChatGPT as well, which we'll need this later on. So this is just chatgpt.com. You can see it here. We also have the platform, and the platform is where we're able to do more stuff, including, and it's hard to find, and this will probably move as well, we want to be able to find the API keys. So if we type in API key, we can create a secret key. Now we'll want to do that later. That'll be important when we get to TypingMind. So for now, ChatGPT is ChatGPT. It's the same thing that everybody's been playing with. This right now is a free account. I'll upgrade to Plus more than likely, but really this is just to demonstrate, today what the free account even looks like. So now let's talk about TypingMind. So TypingMind is a different product that will work with ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and more. And one of the really cool things that will actually work with them all together at once. Same thing, there's always a cost or a free. Right now, I have a lifetime license, but it's got all my stuff in it. So we're going to do it a free for right now. And this is just typingmind.com. Okay, so this is your typical starter screen. And what TypingMind does is it uses the API keys from ChatGPT. So you're going to be able to do all of the same stuff, most of the same stuff that you would do in ChatGPT, only you're going to be able to do it directly off the API. That means that you're paying for every token that you use, but if you're very specific and very directed, that may be way less than $20 a month. And I've experienced that directly myself, where I've gone and built stuff and the cost was $1. It's like, okay, this was a pretty complicated thing back and forth. And took me half a day, but I spent $1. Now, if I did that every day, then that's $30. That's not as good. But if as I increase my processes and make them better and drive that cost down, then I don't necessarily need a ChatGPT account anymore. I can just do APIs. I personally think you're probably going to want both. Just in this world, these things are so economical at this point. Take advantage of them. We all know that, over time, all of these prices have to rise. They will rise. Take advantage of it now while you can. Okay, so let's talk about TypingMind a little bit. Pricing models in TypingMind right now, like I said, as of end of July 2025, you can get TypingMind for a one-time license, $99. Never pay again. It loads on your computer. You can put it on multiple computers. You get free updates. You're able to run multiple models, multiple like ChatGPT, Claude, all the different LLMs. And let's open this up a little bit. So basic, if you do the premium is the lifetime. These are all your different things, which I won't bore you with going through all of them. But for 99 bucks one time, that's a pretty good deal, especially as we go through. I'm going to show you a lot of things that you can do with this. And this will sort of be your testing bed for getting your thoughts straight as you say, all right, I want to build a tool, but I'm starting from scratch. So I have an idea where I want to go. I don't want to start coding yet. So let me just start off in TypingMind, get kind of my pieces, my process. How do I go from A, B, C, D worked out? Very generically, very kind of, just prompt based. And then tell it, do this process, then this process, then that process. Once you have that kind of worked out, now you're ready to move more into coding, something static, and it's really deeper. Okay, so that's the pricing here. I'll let you look at that. The pricing will change, of course, over time. It always does. Just like the screens will change over time. Until you pay some money, you're always going to get this pop up. But let's go through it for now anyway. So we have chat. Yes, forget it. Okay, so the basic parts of TypingMind, we have chat, which is very much looks like ChatGPT. And you don't initially, even with the free here, you don't need to have an API key yet. You can ride on TypingMind's API key, but you're going to be pretty limited in what you can do. Makes sense. Okay, agents are where there's a ton of these that are built in. Everybody likes marketing. Everybody understands marketing. So YouTube content writer. Hey, how about that now? So if I go to just chat now, it's basically a GPT like we would have over here in ChatGPT. Same premise. TypingMind has built a few that you have access to. These are great for figuring out, like, how does this work? Kind of reverse engineer their stuff to figure out and learn yourself. But this is the agent section. So just out of the box, there's tech, design, marketing, and sales. Just a couple of samples. If you want to create one, you can do coding, or you can just come here and say this. Okay, and this, if you've ever built a GPT in OpenAI, I don't think we can build one. Oh, yes, we have to have the Plus account. So maybe I'll shoot one later that shows more of that. But for now, we'll just say that you've seen that at least. And if not, we'll go back to it at some point. But so here we're going to name it. We're going to give it a description. Categories is helpful when you get a whole bunch of these. You can change the little avatar picture. This is where your actual prompt goes. You're going to pick the model. And right now you can see there's all of these different models. So these are mostly ChatGPT at the front. But then I've got Gemini and I've got Claude. And this is on the free. So there's more that you can do when you're off of the free and onto the lifetime plan. And they have a reseller program. They don't have an affiliate program anymore. So I'm covering this, but there's no link. The link will be just straight to them, and no affiliate sale, which is fine. So if you want to add more parameters, you have options here. You're going to pick your language model. We'll say 04 for right now. So let's see, ChatGPT 4.0. The plugins, we'll cover those in a second. Text to speech. There's a knowledge base, which we'll cover that in a second as we kind of work down the sidebar. Dynamic context. This really gets into the coding and the programming. Probably pretty deep for this video, but just know that all these options are here. Welcome message, which is that little pop-up that's when you start, and conversation starters, which is the button you would actually press. So just to come back over here into the agents, we'll cancel this out. So if I come into, I can't edit theirs, but if I do chat now into the coder, so, here's where you can actually, this is the welcome message, this is the options, this is your little avatar. And once you've run this, you can also still just have a conversation with it. So that's chat and that's agents. Prompts are, a template where you can use it over and over and over again. So it's quickly fill in and use chat, work with AI agents, or build your workflow. So if you have a bunch of prompts that you like and you want to use them in multiple agents, this would be a place to add it. Give it a title, give it a tag, description, the actual prompt. You can use fill fields. There's tons of training along the way in TypingMind, and we're going to go deep in this software overall. I'm trying to stay high level right now, just so you know kind of what the software is. What the software is, where the basics are, why you want to spend the $99, because we're going to do many, many more things as we progress. And this really is kind of your testing ground. You can do testing ground in ChatGPT. Obviously, they want you to stay in their platform as well. They're going to keep introducing stuff. Pretty much everything that you see in TypingMind kind of is in ChatGPT as well. Agents was a thing, but that's gonna grow on the ChatGPT side. But what you cannot do in ChatGPT is pull up ChatGPT and Claude next to each other and say, "Here's my prompt. I want to see the output from both, and then choose the one I like the best." Or give me both. Claude, I want this. Rewrite it for me, and then take that back to ChatGPT. So when you have them side by side, there's a lot more things you can do with the individual models. And as we know, they're all going to get better over time. And that just gives you more flexibility inside of TypingMind than you would have just strictly in ChatGPT. And like I said, I think these models are so cheap that if you're doing any kind of serious kind of work, even if you're just playing around, it's super cheap for what you get. But anyway, moving on. So plugins are how you get more capabilities from the individual models. So some of this is already kind of built in. If you notice Perplexity here, so that's a way to bring Perplexity into the mix as well, which you can actually do that off the API key as well. You can connect it with Zapier and Slack, and this starts letting you grow your prompts and your agents and all the other things you're building, and start growing that out outside of TypingMind, outside of ChatGPT, outside of Claude, whatever the LLM you're using. It's the opportunity really to start to automate different things beyond this software or beyond a specific LLM or even multiple LLMs. So plugin store is great. I think we're all kind of familiar with that idea of a plugin store. There's a ton here, and you can search, you can build your own, so there's a ton already here, and there's a ton. If I go here and I've built my own plugin, I can pull that in. If I want to create one, here's how you would create one. This is beginning to get into coding, so if you're not a coder, this might be a little early, but as we progress, you'll know all of these pieces. So this might still seem a little foreign, and I have no idea what you're talking about at this point, but as we go, you're going to learn all of this. So that's plugins. So that's just a way to start, growing outside of these softwares and the LLM specifically. And Perplexity is the perfect example of that. So say I want to use Perplexity search inside my ChatGPT agent absolutely can do that. Okay, models. This is just all the different models that are available. We kind of saw a preview of that before. But if we just click through, you can see all the OpenAI models are here. All the Google models are here. Gemini, all around, including older ones. And Anthropic, Claude's here as well. Global settings. You're going to do that for each of the different models. And this is just data on the different models, including how much the tokens cost. So as you start building things, because we're doing the API, you're going to pay directly for the tokens. Like I said, these are super not expensive, less than pennies upon pennies to do different things. Knowledge base. So this is a place where, if you are familiar with ChatGPT, and you won't be able to see it here, but if you're on the Plus plan, you would see projects over here. And that's a place where you can keep multiple threads kind of nested into a folder, and everything in that folder is accessible. All the threads are accessible to all the other threads in that project. So we have the same idea here, because in projects, you're able to put documents in. So say I want to build something, I want to do my Upwork profile, and I want to have access to my resume. Well, instead of having to drop your resume in all the time, you just load your resume up as a document inside the project, and then all the threads have access to your resume. That you would do a similar thing here. We do get into TypingMind Cloud here, which is the idea of, if I want to use TypingMind on multiple machines, and I want my data backed up, then I need to have some place where that's connecting into the cloud. There is a price for that. It's relatively cheap, like everything else. It's it's nowhere near the price of a Dropbox account. It's really, once again, if you're building things, especially if you're going to build things to sell, if you're building things to make your work faster, to make your hobbies even faster, then the pricing on this really is negligible. So, but this is another price, another charge. And I'm not going to go into all those, because at some point it's all going to change anyway. And by the time you watch this, it will have probably changed. Teams. So Teams is very similar to ChatGPT. You can have a Teams account where everybody on the team can access different stuff that the team is working on together. Same idea here. And then settings. So, just a ton of different settings. We will eventually go into a lot of these. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, because this is just really supposed to be an intro. And then this guy down here is, so data loss warning, because it's saying that I don't have a place that I'm backing up in the cloud. So get your thing. This will be important down the road. API keys. This is where you would actually put your API key, which you would come over here to OpenAI, and it's a little tricky finding these, and this is where you have to understand there's chatgpt.com, and then there's openai.com, which is the platform. And then when I'm in the platform and I'm trying to find where do I find the API keys, that gets a little hard. So really the best thing to do is API keys. Now, see, I think we're actually in a chat. Now I don't want the docs. I want to create an API key. ChatGPT API platform. That's what we want. That might not be it either. Right. I want platform. Here we go. So you want to get to OpenAI platform. Okay. And that's going to be platform.openai.com. And once you're here, now you can type API keys. If you come in here and create an API key, you'll have to do your billing information, which will be like here. You'll have to actually set up your credit card and all that. But once you've done that, then you'll be able to create an API key. And we'll go over this at some point too. But then that key you would then take over to TypingMind, and that way TypingMind gets access to OpenAI. OpenAI knows how to charge you. That's what the API key does, ultimately. And you're going to want one for Anthropic, and you'll want one for Gemini as well. Assuming you want to be able to use all the models in TypingMind, which you will at some point. So you'll go through a similar process, and actually, if you want to know the easy way to do it, just come here. Takes you right to it. That might work better here. Just come right here, and it's going to take you right to the screen you want, instead of having to do all the futzing around and searching around that you end up having to do if you come to the platform. So that is the basic overview of TypingMind. Now, we probably haven't gotten... You probably are still confused, like, what is this thing? Mostly, well, not mostly, one reason people like TypingMind better is they like the interface a lot better. So these are your agents, the ones that are set up to be able to be seen here. And a quick trick there, it's these thumbtacks. If I take all the thumbtacks off, I'll leave strategic market analyst. So they didn't go away. They're still here if I come into the agent screen. But when I go into chat, now I don't have that wall of different agents, which when you get a whole ton of agents, you'll be very glad that you can turn them on and turn them off. If I want to see them all, I just come over here, and now I can see them. If I want to turn them back on, I just hit the thumbtack, go back, and graphic designer will be there with strategic market analyst. So, here I'm going to be able to pick my model. If you're on the free plan, you haven't bought the lifetime, you will be somewhat limited in the models you're able to use. And then these are the plugins that we saw back on the other side. So if I wanted to be able to use one of these plugins in this chat, I would just click it on, and that would be there. But now it's assuming that you've connected the API key for whatever you need. So there's more steps here, and that's where you actually have to come into here. So like if we're going to do Perplexity, there's instructions here, including how to get your Perplexity API key, which once again, you're going to have to now pay for the $20 a month with Perplexity. If you're really doing serious work with this, or even serious hobby work, you're going to want to spend the $20. I mean, it's way cheaper than Netflix. I didn't say that. But anyway, you're going to be able to put in your API key here, and then that will give you access to be able to use this plugin, the Perplexity plugin, in one of your chats. And you would just click it on here, and now that would be available. So that's a very high level of TypingMind. We can go through their little thing here. So here we need to enter the API keys, send your first message, which is just try chatting. Premium features, obviously they want you to use their product, buy their product, and then log in and sync your data to the cloud. So that's the high level of TypingMind. A little bit of high level of ChatGPT, although I'm assuming everybody has seen ChatGPT at this point, and that's not a huge mystery to most people. But what is a mystery is, what comes next out of ChatGPT. This week we probably get the 5th model out of ChatGPT, the 5th kind of version, and agents. So I'm already getting promoted agents. So haven't dug into it yet because, frankly, I want to see where it goes. And right now I can do agents inside TypingMind. So I'm not really necessarily begging OpenAI yet for agents, but we'll see.